Okay, coming up, we got a big matchup in the bantamweight division. Erik Harris takes on Jabari Barret. Harris actually making his return to the USFFC cage after taking a little bit of time off, so he's got the itch to get back in here, and he's got a tough test against Jabari Barret.
Well, Barret traveling all the way from Gastonia, North Carolina, here to Erik Harris's home territory, the home of a Revolution Fight Club, man. And I am so anxious to see this happen and see Erik Harris back in the U.S. Freedom Fighter cage.
Yeah, Erik Harris having lost 30 pounds or more just to make weight for this fight. Big deal to him and the Revolution camp. Can't wait to see it go down. Coming up next, Jabari Barret takes on Erik Harris.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, three-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing first the fighter on my left, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 139 pounds. His record: 2 wins, 1 defeat, and 1 draw. Fighting out of Renegade Fighting Systems, Gastonia, North Carolina, Jabari Barret. And now his opponent standing across the cage and fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 137 pounds with a record of 3 wins and 5 defeats. Fighting for Revolution Martial Arts, Inman, South Carolina, Erik Harris. Your referee when the action begins, Justin Brown.
All right, Erik Harris, Jabari Barret, back to action at 135 pounds. These men are squaring off. The return of Erik Harris, Jabari Barret, looking like he may have a couple of pounds weight advantage on him. Slightly bigger man.
Yeah,
Erik
definitely
Harris.
a little bit of height there going for Jabari Barret.
Erik Harris pressing the distance. Looking to land some quick inside hooks to the body. At least he landed one already, and a takedown attempt.
And here we go. Erik Harris, he's wasting no time here, getting on the legs of Jabari Barret, looking for that takedown. And a beautiful movement there by Jabari Barret, able to shuck Erik Harris off of him here.
Barret did land a good knee. Now, Barret showing all the telltale signs of wanting to avoid the takedown attempt, wants to keep his man on the outside of his strikes.
Beautiful left hook there by Erik Harris.
Yep, he smiled, but does that mean that it hurt or does that mean that it didn't?
That was a beautiful combination there by Barret. You know, you've got Erik Harris, you know, could there be ring rust? It's been a while since he's been here inside the cage.
2 good exchanges from the parts of both fighters right there. Each man landed their punch. Erik Harris stalking forward. Barret with a good jab and right-hand cross combo.
Yeah, Jabari Barret attempting to keep Erik Harris at the end of his punch. He was very wise. Harris closing the distance yet again.
Harris has got to keep his man close and avoid that spatial distance that Barret wants so bad to land knees, kicks, punches, and Barrett's back out. Slips a jab, gets in, but right back out. Barret snapping that jab out, try to create distance, really measure the distance between himself and his opponent so he can fly out that right cross or some knees or kicks.
Well, solving the riddle
There it is.
of that much taller opponent.
He cracked him.
Yeah.
He cracked him with that right hook. Can't tell if Erik Harris has recovered completely, but it looks like he has.
But again, Jabari Barret swimming very well, controlling the underhooks, and when he controls the underhooks, he controls the range.
Jab definitely finding it smart, courtesy of Jabari Barret. He seems to be getting more comfortable with it, firing off the right straight. There it is.
And again, every time that Erik Harris closes the distance, gets the clinch, and fails, it's more of his conditioning, more of his energy used up, and more confidence for Jabari Barret.
You know, the thing that's stopping Harris from closing the distance is the jab. I mean, Jabari Barrett's jab is stopping Erik Harris's forward momentum and every time almost.
But I mean, Erik Harris is closing the distance.
There we go.
But as soon as he does, Jabari Barret is swimming in. He's getting the underhooks, and he's neutralizing the offense of Erik Harris. He's not even getting close to the hips In this case, Erik Harris, hopefully, he shakes off that rust. He's able to come out and make a good showing. But so far, Jabari Barret doing wonders here inside the cage, looking great.
You know, Erik Harris has the benefit of having a full-time wrestling coach at Revolution in Trent Goodell. Great wrestler with a lot of accomplishments and accolades of his own. I'm sure he had some great advice. Erik Harris now trying to plow forward, dipping his head a little bit. Now there's some of the head movement we talked about. He's lowering his head to try to close the distance. He does so.
And Erik Harris being relentless here, but again, Jabari Barret keeping those underhooks, able to swim and then evade and get his back off of the cage.
Yeah, great creation of angles by Jabari Barret, which is in and of itself a huge part of fighting, not just mixed martial arts, but all combat sports.
This is the thing. Erik Harris has been unable to secure and hold the clinch there against the cage. I'm anxious to see if he looks for an outside shot, maybe shoot straight to the legs of Jabari Barret,
right,
and see if he has any success there, because the underhooks, as far as working the upper body stuff, is just not working here. And you can see that as evidence of a bloody and bruised face on Erik Harris.
A little bit better head movement from Harris, but still on the receiving end of some of these punches from Jabari Barret, who's got a pretty good reach for a bantamweight like this.
Oh, here we go. Finally getting to the hips
of
Jabari Barret, and he gets the takedown.
This is where Erik Harris wants to be. He's been working all fight to get here.
But again, Barret back up to the feet. Erik Harris still with the tight waist here.
To try to drag
looking
him down.
For that throw. Maybe he'll just jump right up and sink the hooks on the feet. Either way, it's a good position, possibly a break for Erik Harris.
Jabari Barret going to be tough to bring down. Harris might just need to
it looks
pick
like
him up and
Jabari Barrett's looking to weave in a little Kimura lock there.
I think I see that, yeah.
Maybe
he does have
to keep Erik Harris honest here. We saw a Sakuraba and Renzo Gracie years ago. Broke the arm of Renzo Gracie, one of the most gruesome scenes in mixed martial arts history.
A legend, Kazushi Sakuraba of our sport. Erik Harris slips a punch.
And I will say that Erik Harris, I like the mode of Erik Harris a lot better. That was a hard shot, and you saw the blood fly there from the mouth of Erik Harris. That one definitely hurt. He needs to close that mouth. You'll get a broken jaw in a New York minute like that.
Great punching combinations from Jabari Barret. You see him go with a jab, then the left hook, then the right hook to the body. I mean, he's mixing it up. He's throwing jabs at the right time. I mean, what a great striking performance. Erik Harris has improved his head movement, but it's still not enough to avoid damage.
Well, Erik Harris was a lot more aggressive. Every time that Jabari Barret throws, he's right up in his face, and that's what he has to do here. It was a pretty vicious scene, but all that being said, Erik Harris has continued to toe forward and work hard in this fight. And sometimes you just got to work hard.
You said it, my man, and I tell you what, they breed them hard over at Revolution Martial Arts Academy in Boiling Springs. That's just part of the nature of their camp. They are
Erik
tough.
Harris closing the distance. He's got that single leg already. Going for that lift. Is it going to be enough?
Can he get him down?
Beautiful slam. Now
into side mount. The crowd responds.
That was decisive. Now can he keep Jabari Barret down? Barret already up to his base.
One hook in. Erik Harris looking for a choke. Trying to secure the body triangle, I think. No, looking for one hook now.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
And again, Barret continues to keep his back towards the mat, preventing the rear naked choke.
Erik Harris potentially in a mount position now. This is starting to look bad for Jabari Barret.
But Harris still needs to be very, very careful here. We've seen it before. Jabari Barret, especially as they've gotten slick, he's very slippery, squirrely type of fighter, and he's able to scramble and get out in the previous rounds. Now he is stuck in a spot, and if Erik Harris can control, could he possibly bring home a 10-8 round, if not the finish?
Anything's possible in this sport we love. Right now, what a reversal of fates. Now it's Erik Harris who has finally found himself in the offensive position on top of a very game Jabari Barret, who so far has kind of control the tempo of this fight. Now underneath the mount of Erik Harris, rallying for a strong third round performance. Will it be enough?
Well, we've seen it all night long. It has been a night of comebacks here tonight. Fights that we swore would go one way and ended up going the opposite direction with a few beautiful finishes. Could that be the case here between this epic bout between Erik Harris and Jabari Barret?
Now I'm gonna guess that Erik Harris needs a finish here in the third round. That's just my guess, given what I've seen so far.
Oh, here we go.
And,
up against that cage, Jabari Barret using the cage, but not enough to thwart this mount from Erik Harris. I don't like to see the right arm of Erik Harris tied up. He could get noosed and bridged, and that could be crucial in this fight.
Meanwhile, you have Barret sticking his arms up into the air. You got to wonder if Harris is looking for an armbar finish here at the tail end of the third round.
Well, and like I said, I mean, if you're correct in saying that Jabari Barret is up 2 rounds, if Erik Harris continues on this roll, could this be a 10-8 round? Because it's been all Erik Harris. In that case, we would have ourselves a draw.
It's possible. The 10-8 round is an elusive one. It's not often called, but it's there. And you got to consider it when you're looking at these things. Erik Harris, strong finish. Can he really lay it on? And I think that's the best Erik Harris that we could have hoped for.
Absolutely.
Right there.
He did everything that he could, win, lose, or draw. A tremendous fight. Great showing by both of these fighters.
Great showing by both camps. You know, big hugs and high fives in the middle. That's another great thing about this sport that doesn't often get pointed out enough. I mean, yeah, they're beating each other up in the cage, but as soon as it's over, you see the camaraderie, you see the good sportsmanship, you see all the great things that, you know, make us love the sport, but maybe don't get mentioned as enough as it should. And there it is, right here in the middle of the USFFC cage.
And ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. Judges score this fight 29-28 Harris. 29-28 Barret. And 29-28 for your winner, fighting out of the blue corner, Jabari Barret.
Close
Matt,
fight.
you called it, man. You called it completely. The crowd in attendance, they're not happy, but I mean, it is what it is. You've got to give props to Jabari Barret. It's a great fight. Props to Erik Harris, though, too, man. He gave it his all, especially in that third round, trying to get the work done, and he did a great job there, securing the round. Not enough to take the fight, however.
Yeah, it's a 3-round fight, you know. I mean, no doubt about it, Erik Harris turned the corner and really proved himself in the third round, but Jabari Barret did more in round 1 and 2. And in a 3-round fight, you got to win 2 out of 3.
Yes, undoubtedly. Great fight here.
Great fight, nonetheless. Great performance by both guys. I mean, you know, when you got a guy like Erik Harris that's down, I mean, getting, you know, beat up like that, to be able to walk out after receiving that punishment and then dominate his opponent like that, what a great showing of heart. Although maybe a little bit too little too late, great performance, great showing of heart by Erik Harris. Looking forward to seeing him again in the USFFC cage.